Very good morning, students. We are in the day 5 of our revision, and this is with respect to paper 4, fundamentals of economics and management. And basically, it is fundamentals of business economics and management. I think I told you the day 1 itself, it is fundamentals of business economics and management. So we had done extensively on the fundamentals of business economics, where we discussed questions from micro segment, macro segment, and business environment. So we have done exclusive exercises for business environment segment, graphical, numericals, conceptual for micro, and in macro we saw how it can be data based, scheme based questions, all those kinds of things we saw. And as we went on to management, I think yesterday we were able to do a sizable portion. We covered Taylor's scientific management, Fayol's administrative management. We also started with nature and process of management, the first topic. And regarding the elements of management, we completed planning, organizing, and staffing. Now, coming to the final day of revision of this paper, and regarding the management segment, look at the coverage we have. Probably we will go on up to 12 maximum, and so that we finish. And Nitish, can you read the topic coverage for today from the screen? It would be good. I mean the day 2 coverage list which is there in the screen. So I think there is some network issue from your side. So let me list out the topic for day 2. It is nature and scope of directing, where we have 4 important techniques to be discussed: supervision, leadership, motivation, and communication. The next topic is nature and process of controlling, where apart from this core topic, we will be looking into traditional and modern techniques of control. Fundamentally, a component, a vital component, rather, I would say. And the next one is coordination, where apart from learning about the term coordination, we also would revise collaboration and monitoring. And in fact, this is collaboration monitoring were added with the new syllabus. If you look at your 2016 syllabus, previously we had only coordination. So now they have added concepts like collaboration and monitoring, right? Then you have your decision making process and techniques. And finally, we end with management theories. As far as management theories is concerned, we have discussed Fayol's theory, Taylor's theory, and Grecuna's theory. Yesterday itself we did, and Grecuna's we did formulas and tables, all questions. Now, the other theories, you have theory of bureaucracy, theory of stewardship, theory of agency. And here again, I would say that the last two theories, theory of stewardship and theory of agency, were added in the new syllabus. All right. So now we would start with nature and scope of directing. Okay. So that is the first component we are going to start with, the nature and scope of directing. Right. Now, how should I do this segment? Now, this part of it, all know that it is pretty tough also, because planning, organizing, somehow you would have, read or something like that. These are little bit tough topics. So we will quickly have a look at the notes before entering into exercises. So here also, like the previous days, we have made exercises for you. See, exercise topic wise is given here, so that we can address the most important questions from each of these segments, right? Most important questions from each of these segments we can just try doing. But before doing into the exercise, to make you feel comfortable, or to guess the answer correctly, or to recollect, I think some of you have also started doing management. It was visible from the way you answered yesterday, right? So you were able to give the answers for some of the questions in management. So before entering into the exercise segment, we will have a glimpse into the topic so that when we move on to the exercise segment, revision exercises, it'll be easy for you. You can guess the correct answer also if you are new to it. Now, yes, now we will start with nature and scope of directing. So as the template shows, so under this nature and scope of directing, the introductory note is there on the topic, followed by the important techniques, supervision, leadership, motivation and communication. Of course, delegation is also a technique of directing, and issue of orders and instruction is also a technique of directing. But four vital techniques as separate topics are there. That is why we are mainly focusing on that. Okay, so in all, when you look at the techniques of directing, you have supervision, leadership, motivation, communication, delegation, issue of orders and instructions. Am I clear? Yes. Okay, now let's begin with the first one. Okay, so look at this, a small note. Okay, when you have to do the exercise, you must be familiar. So this is your introductory note. Okay, what is directing? It is a fourth element of management process, isn't it? Just count and see. Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Remember 5 elements: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, right? And I think a lot of exercise on this listing of the elements itself we did. What did Fayol say? What did Ralph C. Davis say? General listing all. So you find that as per the general listing, this is the post element, and what we consider as techniques or elements, that's what I already put up on the PPT. So what do you mean by this directing? No, it is telling people what to do. That's all. Very simple. See, it's highlighted also in our notes and given to you. It's just telling people what to do and also ensuring that they do it to the best of their ability. This is what you're supposed to do, and I'm also ensuring that they do it to the best of their ability. Are you clear? So when this comes as a question, you must be able to address it. Okay. Now you have the important characteristics of directing. It is a continuous function, pervasive function, creative function, linking function, all that you have, right? And as I told you, please remember significance, merits, demerits, limitations, however it is asked, obstacles, gateways and all. It is a go through segment. Don't put effort, because when you study the entire chapter, this will be easy for you. So this is basically a go through segment. Okay, so because the portion is vast, don't give more time for the portion is so vast that you have to understand that you will not have much time for what? You will not have time for the significance and other stuff, right? Okay. Now, as per the plan of action, we will go through the material once and enter into management exercise. Now, principles of directing, miss not segment. Because one principle will be an odd man out. We saw, for planning you have principles, for coordination you have principles, for directing you have principles, right? Yesterday we saw principles of effective delegation. So all principles are, please understand, they are a miss not segment. So what is a go through segment? What is a miss not segment? And today being the final day, finally I'll tell you these are all technical segments in management must read, and these are the go through segments. Okay, I will show you that. Now look at the principles of directing: harmony of objectives, maximum individual contribution, unity of command, appropriate techniques, direct supervision, strategic use of informal organization, managerial communication, comprehension, effective leadership, principle of follow through. Right? Okay. Then techniques of directing. This is what I told you. Remember that. Motivation, leadership, supervision, communication, issue of orders and instructions, and delegation. However, delegation comes mainly under organizing, right? It is also a technique of directing. Now, as you go through the segment, chapter topic wise, first we are going to Go through all this fully, whole thing, and then enter into exercise, which means you can do the exercise easily. Is that clear? Okay, that's what I felt. Now you have seen directing. Now we can go on to the next technique, which I also kept open for you. So, yeah, motivation. Now, under motivation, please understand what is that very important aspects we are going to see. As usual, this is the technical segment. Miss not. Okay, I'll give you the clue here and there. Miss not. Nature of motivation is nothing but features. Characteristics and features, miss not, because one among the feature which they give you will be an odd man out. So for correct and incorrect sentences, it is very important. Importance of motivation, go through segment. By now you know, isn't it? Go through segment. Now this is a revision cue, my dear students. This is a revision tip. What should I revise for the exam? What is a segment is which is miss not? Okay, that is very important. Process of motivation, process, principles, all these are miss not. Okay. Financial and non-financial, repeated question. If they give you the example, I must be able to tell whether it is financial or not financial. Okay, miss not. And theories of motivation, I need not tell you it is a technical segment, because any theory as a management, name of the management expert, probably the book, probably a year, probably some new concepts like hygiene concept, Herzberg's hygiene and motivational factor, isn't it? Okay, so just look, have a glimpse at it, highlighted segment, because in the class itself we have done a thorough discussion. It shouldn't be a problem. But now as you are going to do the exercise, I'm showing you this, right? Okay, motivation is defined as a process of stimulating. Please remember, influencing, enticing, all these terms, right? And to motive is what? To motivate is to provide with a motive. Tell them, tell them, see, you are going to get a benefit to do it, right? So again, names of the experts: Stephen Robbins, Robert Dubin, Wilder Penfield, Chester Bernard. Do you see new names? That's why it's highlighted for you, right? So I told you that when it comes to quotations, when it comes to names of management experts, be sure that unless you study, you can't. Even if we give the options, you will not know. See, if I give you the 4 options, how will you know that it was Stephen Robbins who said motivation is a willingness to exert high levels of effort? Do you understand why we should have a segmentation as technical portion and non-technical? So non-technical portion is don't waste too much of time on it. You give reading once. I'm not saying don't touch. Right. Okay. Now, nature of motivation. See the features. It is an inner feeling. It's an emotion or a desire. It is a total. I can motivate a person totally, not piecemeal. Right? Motivation, the other names are desire, drives, needs and wishes. Okay, so managers motivate the subordinates. Only then their objective can be fulfilled, right? Okay, so motivation is an important corporate tool, because we are talking in the context of business management, right? Okay, now look at the features. It is a continuous process, goal-oriented behavior. Okay, financial and non-financial incentives. So I told you, a list is given: wages, salaries, bonus, retirement benefits, medical reimbursement. All these are financial. All these are financial. And look at, and I tabulated also for you. So when you look at your material, it will be tabulated. And what are non-monetary? Status, appreciation, recognition, work-life balance, delegation, working condition, job enrichment, job security. Of course, salary will come here and here. Remember that. I mean, both the ways salary comes in. And motivation is a complex process. It is both positive and negative. And this is a very important question. Analytical, because generally when we say motivation, we all think it is positive. But in corporate language, they use a word, carrot and stick approach. Carrot and stick approach. Now, what is this? Carrot implies rewards, motivating subordinates through rewards. Very simple. But stick is telling that if you don't do, you have a punishment, you have a penalty, you have a punishment. Do you understand this carrot and stick approach? Is it clear to you? Okay, so motivation can be positive or negative. See, I'm giving you only questions which are asked in the examination. Okay, see penalties, I highlighted for you. Okay, so whatever it is, again, Louis Allen's definition, importance, go through. It's a go through segment, right? Motivation process, steps. First, there is an awareness of need. What is that an employee is seeking? You know, what is there in the mind of the employee? Now, search for an action because to satisfy his need, for example, his need is high salary or promotion. He is going to work for it, no? So, you can motivate him telling that you will get a promotion if you work like this. If your efficiency is this, you will be getting a promotion, right? Search for action. Fulfillment of a need. Yes, I'm satisfied. I did this job efficiently. I was promoted. Then, do you think they will be satisfied with this promotion? No. Further hike in pay or whatever they want. Okay. So, new need will come. Supposing their need is not satisfied, what will happen? Again, new action. So, that is the way I said order is very important. Okay. I told you order is very important. Okay. Remember that part very clearly. Yes. Now, theories of motivation, quickly look at it. So, you should know with the name of the expert. Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. McClelland's need theory. McGregor's participation theory. Urwick's Z theory. Argyris theory. Vroom's expectancy theory. Aldeffer's ERG theory. ERG stands for existence, relatedness and growth. Then achievement motivation model given by McClelland. Stacey Adams equity theory. Porter and Lawler's expectancy theory. Now, a theory segment is where you have to learn it with the name of the expert. Any technical information given. Name of the book. Okay, name of the book. So you will have this name of the book. Okay, then the publication, year of the publication. So that is how you have to do. So Maslow's need hierarchy theory. So you have the pictorial kind of representation to see the hierarchy. The first need, then the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one, then the fifth one. Right? So this is your need hierarchy theory. Okay. Then we will move on further. So all this. So how will they ask? They will give you one, say if they give you social interaction, identify which need it is. You know, quite possible. Identifying the need, right? So that is very important. Then let's move on to the next one. And criticisms here, it's a go-through segment. 100% I say it is a go-through segment. Okay. Then Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. Herzberg has given this and two-factor model. Please remember, again for you to understand easily, wherever possible we have given you as a chart. So these are all what you have here in this part is hygiene factor and this is motivating factor. So what are hygiene factors? Those which are fundamentally to be provided. If that is not there, I'm not going to work. If it is there, I'm not satisfied. These are not motivation. I mean, the absence of hygiene factors gives me dissatisfaction, but presence of it is not motivation, because for motivation I need more than basic. These are all basic requirements. If this is not there, why will I be in this organization? But these are motivators. So very clearly as a tabulation we have given you. So for exam you revise this tabulation. Go. It is a very important question, repeated question. I'll put it on the board. It's a repeated question. Okay, it's a repeated question. So what comes under hygiene segment is company's policy and administration, supervision, interpersonal relations, working conditions, salary, status, security. What comes under motivators? Achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, advancement and growth. If these are there, I'm motivated. The employee says, you know, awareness of the need of the employee. We saw just now, no? So, How will they ask in the examination? They will give you 3 from here and 1 from this and ask you to find out which one of the following is a hygiene factor. Or they may give 3 from this and ask which one of the following and this 1 from this and which one of this is motivating factor. Right, and salary is marked asterisk because salary is not only here, salary will be a hygiene factor, basic requirement and motivator. Okay, much more than that. Right, okay, all these are given to you very clearly. McClelland's need theory, my dear students, please note. NR, empower, NF. So NRK is need for achievement. Empower is empower, need for power. Okay, and the third one is need for affiliation. So who gave this? McClelland. Okay, remember that. So when you revise, by now you should have studied. When you revise, no, you do like this and always I tabulate. Need for achievement, need for power and need for affiliation. McGregor's participation, what they will ask is X positive, is Y positive. Like positive traits and negative traits, no. X theory denotes negative qualities. People are lazy, people lack ambition, they don't want responsibility, they don't want to take up leadership. All these are X, negative. And positive traits is Y. Positive traits is Y. Okay, look at this. Z. What is the Z theory? And Z theory was given by Urvik, Ragnaker, Aokai's model, right? And this is a Japanese model. Fundamentally, we have seen Japanese model, and in fact, it has been taken up by American companies. See, here they are saying, no, there is a lot of informal relationship, strong bond between the organization and employees. It's a strong bond. No need to dictate to employees, follow the rules of the organization, work for the organization goals. No, not necessary. Why? Because they themselves are loyal and committed. And organization also does a lot for them. So mutually they go hand in hand. You see HRD there, human resource development. Workers, employees working, working jubilantly. Can you understand this point? Are you clear? So this is followed by American companies. It's a Japanese model. And in India, you have Maruti Suzuki and Hero Honda. Examples also I have given you. Now, Argyris. So he, instead of X and Y, he has given as immaturity and maturity model. But what is the crux of this theory, It is a management practice which is responsible for people making employees matured or stay at immature levels. Management. It's basically the burden is put on management. You are responsible. That's what Argyris theory says. Okay. Fundamentally, Argyris theory says there again tabulation. So wherever possible, I have given the tabulation. So look at the list. Elaborately, I am showing you because when the exercise segment comes, you must be able to do. ERG theory. E stands for existence, R stands for relatedness, G stands for growth. And who has given this? Clayton, Paul, Alderfer. Clayton, Paul, Alderfer. Okay, ERG. Remember that. Vroom's expectancy theory, you know that, efforts leading to performance, leading to rewards. Okay, that is the basic model. So you see, if you have no time, the revision tip for this chapter is go through the charts given there. The main ingredients are there. So what is valence, what is expectancy, what is instrumentality. Okay. So that is also very clearly given to you. And Stacey-Adams equity theory, I already told you, it is a fair balance between what the employee contributes, what he gets. So what he contributes is defined as employees' inputs, hard work, their skill level, tolerance, enthusiasm. All these are employees' inputs. What is the output? The salary they get, the benefits they enjoy, the intangibles which they gain, all this. Clear? Okay. So that is where, are they overpaid? Are they underpaid? That is the balance you have to see. Okay? Equity theory. Then go on to the next one. And I have also here again inputs. See, wherever possible, list is there given to you. Inputs list and output list. So when you have no time to read this big chapter, please go through only the list, the chart given. You are ready for the answer. Okay, now Porter and Lawler's model, we all know it's an extension of Room's model. Okay, in Rooms you had effort, performance and reward, and here we add here satisfaction, intrinsic and extrinsic. Extrinsic is external, intrinsic is internally felt. Okay, so that is what is this model. So elaborately we have gone. Okay, so what are the segments we have revised now? Nature and scope of directing, supervision, motivation. Okay, then we will look into communication, so that when you answer the exercise, it will be easy for you. Communication. Yeah. This is your communication segment. So under communication, you have, yes, here again I have mentioned there, one among the technique of directing is communication. Okay, so look at this very important question highlighted for you. The term communication is derived from the Latin word communis, which means common. Theo Hemann's definition. In communication, there are two parties, communicator and communicatee, right? And communication involves sharing of ideas, opinions, facts, etc. It can be written, verbal, gestural. Remember all these main points. Communication can be through words, symbols, letters, or even actions. Right? Then Dalton Macfarlane's example, quotation, Herbert Simon's quotation, Newman and Summers' quotation, Louis Allen's quotation. You see that, right? Features for correct and incorrect, right? Again, remember, don't take features for lightly, because for each element of communication, there are some exclusive features. See here, two parties that would be given: encoding, decoding, right? All this is the channel, medium, etc. Okay, so all this is given to you here. And gestural communication, see, a wave of the hand, movement of the lips, twisting of the face, rolling of eyes, shaking of hands, right? All these again fundamental aspects. Now, how they will give you is they will interchange it. What is there for gestural, there one will be written or verbal. So you must be able to identify the correct form of communication. The odd man out should be known to you. In that way, you have to prepare the chapter, right? Okay, so and these are all process of communication. What happens? The communicator sends, he encodes and sends. The message is the content, and then there is a channel through which it is transmitted. Then you have the receiver, and then feedback response from the receiver. And definitely without the platform which is used is, of course, there can be a network and other kinds of issues, problems are there, e-platforms are there, but still, no, we are using that also. Importance of communication is a general segment. Types of communication, please study, because you have upward, downward, horizontal, diagonal, repeated question. Okay, either through the chart or through the explanation. Informal communication. Yesterday, we saw a question, grapevine. You remember? Grapevine. So, formal and informal structure, formal and informal communication is very important. And here, they can ask you from the types of informal: single, strand, gossip, probability, cluster. So, what is single strand? X communicates with Y through intervening persons. From X to A, B, C, D, and then to Y. What is gossip? Non-selectively communicates with everyone. That's why grapevine. Probability. So X communicates randomly with others. Means probability is there. Okay. That, here we are talking about he is not deliberately picking, nor he is also recklessly. So the message reaches the group where it should be, like that. And cluster is selectively communicating with the people upon whom they are having trust. Okay, he is my intimate friend, he is my relative, he is my close cousin, he is my department, he is my classmate, he is my roommate, like that, right? Okay. Then media or methods, it could be verbal, and remember, it could be like verbal is through spoken words, And oral communication can be face-to-face, mechanical, written communication, non-verbal. Please study very technical segment. Okay. Audio signal, visual signs, body language, paralanguage, space language, surroundings, time language, haptics, silence. You remember how much of time we devoted to understand each of this. Look at the term kinesics, proxemics, chronemics. You remember in the class when you did running notes, I asked you to take down this, right? Then communication network can be wheel, can be chain, can be circle and all channel. Definitely it is also a technical segment. Without studying this or at least looking at the diagram, you can't answer this. Okay, so go through these because where terms are there, where some graphical representations are there, it will be a very important one. And barriers to communication is a repeated question only, but what happens is it is little simple as compared to what we saw earlier, no? So it is a question where you have it's a repeated question, I mean. Okay, organizational barriers, mechanical barriers, personal barriers, and semantic barriers is repeatedly asked. You know, the use of words, you know, where there is a mistake, faulty translation, using technical language people are not familiar with, something like that, and personal barriers, of course. And effective communication. So here you are having the ways to overcome the barriers, you know, general ways. And finally, you have the principles. I told you, know, principles. You have to study well. What is this? Clarity of the message, completeness of the message, consistency of the message, proper timing, empathy, follow-up and feedback, economy. Done? Okay. Now, the last component which we are going to go through here is leadership. Supervision and leadership. So, this we have revised, this we have revised. Okay. Now, after I do these two segments, when I open the management exercise, you must be able to find out the answer. Okay, so to make you prepared for, mentally prepared or recollect the points only, we are go through in the notes. So that now techniques of directing, no, this one, this full part, we have exercise we are going to do. Likewise, we will do controlling. Likewise, we will do coordination. Likewise, we will do decision making, and finally management theories. Okay, so after I give these two also, and when you do an exercise on this, I will give you the break. Okay, so it's not dumping things, but today I want you all to learn it off during the session itself. So that is the basic idea, no? Suddenly if I start with the questions, particularly this is later part, no, towards the end of the management segment, probably some of you would not have started revising this. So I thought in the revision session itself, we will do a small revision and quickly go into the exercise part. Okay, that's how it's planned. So now we have to take, we have done communication also. Here, this one. So in organization, we are going to see supervision and supervision, leadership, motivation and communication. Okay, and supervision also, not only slide, I have one. Yeah. Just a minute. Regarding supervision, also look at it, please. So this is our material, right? Okay. Now, what is important? I told you that what is asked is till here only I find. Even types of supervision, I find types of leadership, but not types of supervision. So this from here, it will be just go through segment. So those of you who have been following your parents' shows also, I'm telling you from where supervision, no, it's very small portion only they're asking. Like what is supervision? It's a Latin word. Super means from above. Vision means to see. So in the ordinary language, when you say supervision, means overseeing the activities of the others. Basically, it's a blend of two words, super and vision. But technically put in, what is that? You are inspecting the work of the other person. Supervision in business language refers to an act by which any person inspects or supervises the work of other people. Okay, supervisor is a man in the middle. Remember that. Okay, supervisor is a man in the middle. And you have MS Vitals definition, RC Allen's definition. In fact, it is RC Allen who calls supervision as a responsibility job, which is above work job. See, work job is normal doing of a work. I do my task. But supervision is, I am answerable for 100 people who are working there. A foreman is there, under him 100 people are there. 20 people are there, 500 people are there. It's a responsibility job. It is R.C. Hallen who has differentiated between responsibility job and work job, where he says that a supervisor's job is responsibility job. Are you clear? Okay, so what is supervision? It means overseeing the subordinates at work to ensure that they are working according to the plans and policies of the organization. Okay, so that is what I've highlighted. The other part you can do on your own. Okay. Now just let us go through these slides. See, MS Vitals, R.C. Allen's thing I have given you. Now, leadership. Leadership, look at the new name you are learning. I mean, revising. The class we said Richard Draft. Leading is a use of influence. We saw stimulating, no, for directing. Here, leading is the use of, what is leading? Leadership. Leading is a use of influence to motivate employees to achieve organizational goals. Richard Draft. Okay. And three components that make up leading functions are motivating employees, influencing employees, forming effective groups. Motivating, influencing, forming effective groups, right? Whatever is important we'll say. Then you have Davis definition, Theo Heyman, Coons and O'Donnell. It's a very popular one, Coons and O'Donnell. No? Leadership is the ability of a manager to induce subordinates to work with confidence and zeal. Work with confidence and zeal. Okay. Then features of leadership, important segment for the exam. In the slide itself I told you. It's a leadership is a personal quality. Existence of a followers is needed. There can be no leadership without followers. Leadership tries to influence. Remember, and leadership arises because the leader has to make people work for a common goal, not merely individual excellence. It's a continuous process, and leadership is situational. Very important point, because looking at the situation, a leader comes up to his level of headship. You know, so it is very important to understand. And leadership and management, small thing. Okay, all leaders are people who have to have some fundamental qualities. Remember, and all leaders need not be managers, but every manager should have leadership qualities. You understand this phrase? All leaders need not be managers. Leadership is a quality of influencing people. I am able to control people. I am able to command people. I am able to guide people. I have followers. But as far as manager is concerned, every manager ought to have a leadership quality. Right? Qualities of a successful leader. So I think all positive points will be there. Physical energy, intelligence, vision, initiative, self-confidence, open-mindedness, sense of responsibility, human relations, leadership styles. My dear students, from here starts your technical segment. Please remember, repeated question, a very technical segment. Leadership style is based on use of authority. Leadership continuum is very important. Leadership styles as managerial grid was given by Blake and Moulton. Systems of management was given by Rensis Likert. Do you understand this? Are you clear? Okay. So, and each of this has been clarified and given for you. And see leadership continuum. Tannenbaum and Schmitz, you remember, they developed the concept of leadership continuum. Repeated question. Tannenbaum and Schmitz. And you know the diagram, it's like a box diagram. So continuum means scale. From here to here we travel. From boss center to subordinate. Please mark it as a technical question. It should be there in your fingertips. From 1 to 7 you should know. That's why I highlighted. In the class also we did an exercise. So what is point 1, what is point 2, what is point 3, like that, all 7 points please revise. Right? Okay. Now in the continuum approach, please look at the factors: forces in the manager, forces in the subordinate, forces in the situation. Okay. Now what is this managerial grid? First of all, remember who gave that? Robert Blake and Jane Mountain. Robert Blake and Jane Mountain. Have it in your mind very clearly. And he had 2 dimensions. You remember that box-like diagram? Okay. Concern for the people, concern for production. Concern for people is worker oriented. Concern for production is work oriented. See, this is the box diagram. What is 1.1.9? What is 9.9? What is 9.1? What is 1.1? What is 5.5? Repeated question, technical segment. Only graph alone I've showed you. See, what is 1.1? What is 1.1? What is 1.9? What is 9.1? What is 9.9? What is 5.5? All this you must know, because the questions are that. Then Likkert's management system. He developed his team itself developed 4 management system: exploitative, autocratic; benevolent, autocratic; consultative, democratic. Okay, 4 systems given by Rensis Lickert, management expert. And finally, contingency or situation approach. Yesterday also we saw this term, no? So, as a situation, a leader has to manage. You can't have predetermined plans when situation is something like an emergency, as crisis has emerged. That time I don't have a plan, but that doesn't mean I should remain passive. I should act. That's the point here. Okay. Then integrated model of leadership given by George Terry. Leader, followers, organization and environment. Servant leadership, my dear students, very important. Added in your 2022 syllabus. Earlier we didn't have. It was actually, the word servant leadership was coined by Robert Greenleaf. In that class I told you 2 people are associated with this. This term was quoted and explained by Swami Vivekananda in his Vedantic speech. But who coined that phrase? Robert Greenleaf. Okay. And the important publication, look at this. In The Servant as a Leader, an essay which was published in the year 1970. That's why I told you, wherever name of the book, year of publication is there, they will question you. Right. Okay. So please look at this point. When I want to lead, as first I should know how to be as a servant, and then I grow myself as a leader. Okay. Understand that? Leader first, servant first. 2 extreme types are there. That's what he has discussed in his. Leader first is people. There are some people who are having inborn qualities of leadership. I am a leader. And servant first is one where they seem to be, like follower, dependents. And slowly they learn to become a leader. Do you understand? You see, office situation, superior will be their subordinate. Some subordinates will voice out from the beginning. They would be a new joinee. Still, they will be bold enough, courageous enough, discussing, etc. The other one will be passive, observing, learning from the superior. And when the time comes to take up a position, he will take. That's what we are talking about. I'm just telling you about his 2 extremes. Okay. Then principles of servant leadership. Because it is 2022 leadership, they can ask you, encourage a diversity of thought, create a culture of trust, have an unselfish mindset, foster leadership in others. Okay. And aspects of servant leadership, qualities of a servant leader. How does a servant leader? Compassionate. That's all. Okay. So he will remember he is always a servant. Because he is there to serve. As a leader, he has to serve. So here, leadership is not autocracy. It is not hunger for power. So as we discussed in the class servant leadership, remember A servant leader has to be empathetic, compassionate. And what is the criteria for a servant leader? The compassion he shows towards the workers. Okay. And as a leader, he is serving. Therefore, he is also a servant. As a leader, he is serving. And here, a hunger for I am the leader. No, has no role. Hunger for power has no role. I am as a leader also I'm a servant because I'm meant to serve people. I'm meant to serve community. I'm meant to serve guide the members. Do you understand that? So that is what I'm trying. It's quite a different style of leadership. Okay, so we have done it. Empowers subordinates. The employee feels that leader is there for me. That's all. Very simple. And of course, regarding the effectiveness of the leadership, we know that effectiveness, you have two views. First view is it depends upon the qualities of the leader, personal qualities or traits. And the second one is how they behave. Okay. Third view always is situational or contingency. Okay. And important situational factors. Suddenly the task is complex. Attitude of the followers. Their relationship with their heads. The power position of the leader. All this changes situational factors. And it is very important that managers have the leadership skills. Okay. They have to be trained. That's all. Are you clear? So we have completely done a revision of all this. Now it is time for questioning. So all this we have quickly revised. Now what should we do? We have to do exercise based on this. And as usual, I will also release the answer key. Okay? Answer key will also be released to you. Yeah, the key is ready. And yeah, so answer is clear. My dear students, we have done a lot of perusal of the answer case. So don't worry. As far as revision questions and whether it was given in PPT as a quiz exercise or whether it is a Word document, the answer keys have been checked. A couple of times. But sometimes there are differences between, and which answer is widely quoted is what is given to you. Are you clear? Okay. So before I show you the Word document, let me just then show you of this PPT slide also what was done for today. So we went through all the class notes and important segments. We revised terms like carrot and stick approach and all, and what is leadership as a distinct technique, the three components that make leading function, motivating as such, the term influencing, forming effective groups, all those we learned, definitions as usual, new names, existing names or familiar names, leadership styles I told you. Yeah, we will do exercise. This exercise we'll do a little later. I think we can first do the word exercise and then we will move on to this exercise. Okay. And in motivation also, please remember we studied about the meaning of the term motive. And new names, I told Stephen Jobbins, Robert Dubin, Chester Bernard, new names. And steps and features are a bit tricky, so be careful. Financial, non-financial, be careful. Okay, be careful thing. And template questions, theories of motivation, definitely you should know with the name of the expert. With the name of the expert. Okay, we will do exercise. Communication also, we will do the exercise. Right. Okay, now this much only we have concentrated. So we have to go for our so look at this. Let me first show you the questions and also read the questions for you. Okay, but you can jot it down in your revision notebook itself. I would give you 5 minutes so that you can also, in this 5 minutes, what you're going to do is, whether you can fill up the answer. Please remember, we have done almost for 1 hour. We began at 6:30. Close to 1 hour, we have been revising. We have been looking into our notes, classroom notes, and what all is possible has been told. There is a chance that you can get a full score also. Today, I want you all to, being the final day of revision, I want every one of you to get full score in this exercise, right? Okay. Now look at this topic wise. So we are starting from nature and scope of directing. Remember intro topic we saw. Dash is a process of telling people what to do and ensuring that they do it to the best of their ability. The 4 options are directing, leading, communicating, and delegation. The second one is identify the incorrect principle of directing. I am always telling you that please read these questions very careful. Correct, incorrect. Okay, incorrect principle of directing from the given. Harmony of objectives, maximum individual contribution, unity of command, principle of timing. Choose the most appropriate option from the given. Okay, directing is, this is from feature segment. Do you see how the questions have been collected from various segments? Sample or template questions. Right. Okay, directing is pervasive function, creative function, linking function, all of the above. Supervision. Now we go to the topic supervision. Isn't it, after the intro topic? And in supervision, I told you, know, which is the miss not segment, which is the go through segment. Because in go through segment and from supervision, I'm not finding questions at all. That's why I told you this. Supervision is a dash word. Is it a Greek word, Latin word, Spanish word, Irish word, etc. Super means excellent, from the above, vibrant, extraordinary. Supervision is a blend of 2 words, true or false. According to dash, supervision refers to the direct, immediate guidance and control of the subordinates in the performance of their jobs. Thus, the activity of supervision is concerned with direction, guidance, control, and superintendence of subordinates. A supervisor performs these tasks. Who gave this? MS Vitals is there, RC Allen is there, Davis is there, Weirich is there. You have to choose. Dash has called supervision as a responsibility job, which is above work job. We revised this concept, you remember? Okay. Again, options are there. Same thing, Vitals, Allen, Davis, Weirich. Now the next topic. All this, now directing as a chunk we'll finish. Then we will go to controlling, coordination, decision and other theories, right? So that is a plan of action for today. Okay. Now leadership. Dash components make up the leading functions. How many components? And you can even list out the components. We saw it in the PPT slide, in the class notes. How many components and what are they? According to dash and dash. The names of the 2 management experts. Leadership is the ability of the manager to induce the subordinates to work with confidence and zeal. Remember the term zeal. I gave you the meaning for that also. Enthusiasm. Identify the incorrect feature of leadership from the given. Four. Leadership tries to influence. Leadership arises out of functioning for a common goal. Leadership is a continuous process. Leadership is not related to a particular situation. Choose the incorrect. Now you are going to match the following. So all these, what to say? Black is segment A side, and B is the yellow side, right? You have to match. Leadership style is based on, and B is involving a variety of styles ranging from maximum to the minimum use of power. What is that? That is the blank there. And leadership styles described in managerial grid was given by, systems of management was given by. So you have to do the correct ones. Okay. On the B side, you have leadership continent, use of authority, lenses record, and Blake and Mountain. You have to match. Okay. Leadership styles can be classified into how many categories? 2, 3, 4, 5. Free rein leadership is known as dash policy. Dash develop the concept of leadership continent to highlight the range of possible leadership styles. The managerial grid, the leadership style, is developed by dash. The grid has how many dimensions? An integrated model of leadership has been proposed by dash. See, as MCQs, match the following and fill up I wanted to give you. Servant leadership was cited in the Vedantic speech of dash. Whom? During late years of 19th century, the phrase servant leadership was coined by dash. In the servant leader, in the servant as leader, the name of the book and essay that was published in which year? Okay, now you do these exercises, think and do it. I think you would have jotted down the question. Try these exercises, then we will move on to the next one. Okay, so now in between I give you a 5 minutes break because it's close to almost 1 hour. Concentrating beyond that in a theory is very difficult. Okay, so I give you a 5 minutes as a coffee or tea break, however you want to take, but keep contemplating on these questions. Since I read the questions, I'm sure you had that time to look at the take down the question in your revision notebook. Answer key is there. I will also release the answer key. Okay, so after 5 minutes I will read the question from the communication segment also, so that directing is completely done, and I will show you the answer key. Check whether you have written the right answer. If the answer is wrong, please jot down the right answer, because it is going to be a ready reckoner for your examination. Okay, so I give you a 5 minutes break. So probably it is 7:30 to 7:40 or 45 we can get back. Let's get back. I hope that you were able to trace answer to for some of the questions. I will give you the answer, release the answer key. But in between, I'm also going to finish off the other things. Together as directing, you should know. So that is my idea today of revision. So motivation, I will read out the questions. As I read out, you can jot it down, or you can even, try to answer this. You can write the answer also. When I release the key, you can check it, right? So motivation, I start from this definition segment. You see, it's a mix of all things which we saw as very important. Okay. Motivation may be defined as a process of dash someone to adopt a desired course of action. Repeatedly, I was saying you this, right? Second question, dash has defined motivation as something that moves a person to action and continues him in the course of action already initiated. Medical reimbursement is an example of financial or non-financial incentive. You have to identify. I will not tell. Okay, I showed you the list. You saw the table also. Okay, we have done revision. Need hierarchy theory of motivation was given by whom? Theory with the name of the expert, right? Herzberg conducted a widely reported motivational study on dash accountants and engineers. Number. I told you, whenever data is there. So this is a very important research which he did. That's why I'm asking you on that. It's there in our notes also. Company policy and administration is an example of hygiene factor or motivational factor. Identify that. Remember the list. Okay. NR, Npower and NF denotes which theory of motivation? Can you also expand? We also expanded it and saw in the morning. Theory of X denotes positive or negative traits. Question. Okay. Theory Z is based on defined postulates. Okay. Choose the right option. You have to choose the right option. Okay. Expand ERG. And who has given that? Okay. That is all. Now go to the next chapter. Communication. I suppose you have jotted down the question or you have answered directly also. The word communication has been derived from the dash word. Is it Latin, Greek, Spanish, Irish? And it means what? Communis means what? Communication involves exchange or sharing of ideas, opinions, facts, all of the above. Communication may be through words, symbols, letters and actions, all of the above. In the words of dash and dash, you have to give the name of the expert. Communication is an exchange of facts, ideas, opinions or emotions by two or more persons. Gestural or body language as a medium of communication is there, isn't it? Is a medium of communication. So trace the odd one out, as it's very important. You must be able to know what comes under gestural, what comes under verbal, what comes under written. Verbal, written and gestural. Okay. Which do you find is different? It is not gestural. Trace the odd one out. See, look at the word odd. In the place of incorrect, I have given you as odd. Dash involves, now fill-ups are there for you. Dash involves a selection of language in which a message is to be given. Dash transmission of information. Dash means transmission of information among the positions at the same level of the organization. Dash is a method of informal communication. Informal communication. In which X non-selectively communicates with everyone. See, I have also given you the options, isn't it? Single stand, cluster, group, probability. Written communication in the form of is in the form of. Choose the odd one. Letters, circulars, dictaphones, memos. 10th one is a fill-up. Dash, that is proxemics, denotes space between the speaker and the listener. You have to know on the audio visual sign, you have to give the name. It may be an intimate space, personal space, social space or public space. What it is, you have to fill it up. Okay. So with this, your directing topic is completely done. Okay. Now shall we look at the answer key for your understanding? Probably you would have written the question and answer, or you directly would have written the answer, but we have to check it up, isn't it? Answer key is very important. Dash is a process of telling people what to do and ensuring they do it to the best of their ability. Directing. Okay. Identify the incorrect principle of directing. Principle of timing is incorrect because it comes under principle of planning. Choose the most appropriate option, all of the above. Directing is persuasive, creative, linking, everything. So, what is directive if they ask you? Directing is all. Linking, persuasive and creative. Remember that, okay? Now, questions under supervision. Supervision is a Latin word. Remember, it is not Greek. You won't choose Spanish, I know that, Spanish or Irish. But remember, there is always a confusion between Latin and Greek. See, in economics also, oikos nomos is a Greek word. Ceteris paribus is a Latin phrase. Okay. Super means from the above. It is not excellent. Excellent is a common man's language. Excellent, superb. We say no, it's not that. From the above. The supervisor is overseeing, inspecting. We learned, we revised all these terms today. Inspecting the subordinate from his level. He's been asked, he's been put for that purpose. Supervision is a blend of two words, true or false. True, because super plus vision is supervision. Okay. According to vitals, MS vitals. Remember that. Okay. I told you that, no, vitals. Then who has called supervision as the responsibility job? It is none other than R.C. Allen. He has called it. R.C. Allen is the right option. Okay, it is called as a responsibility. Supervision is called as a responsibility job, which is over and above the work job. Are you clear? Okay. No, this I have to remove. It's only vitals, it's not this. Leadership. Three components make up the leading function. Note it down, my dear students. And what are those components? I told you, if possible, also mention that motivating employees, influencing employees, forming effective groups. Okay. How many functions form leading function? How many components? Three. And what are they? Motivating, influencing, forming effective groups. Okay. According to dash and dash, we all know that it is Coons and O'Donnell. Identify the incorrect feature of leadership from the given. This is the incorrect. Leadership is related to a particular situation. Leadership is situational. Never forget. Match the following. See, leadership style is based on the use of authority. Leadership continuum. That is where you have this range, the scale from maximum to minimum. Leadership style as a managerial grid was given by Blake and Mountain. Systems of management was given by Rensselaer. Check your answers. If it is wrong, write the correct one. How many styles of categories are there? Leadership categories are there. So this is, please look at it. I want to tell you something here, where you should not confuse, because so many things are given to you. Which part I will tell you, where you have to look at the answer. I'll just give in you. Not this one. This one. Okay. So I think that question was taken from the scanner is bit confusing. So we will take it like this. Okay. It's not, the category is not given correctly. So we will just remove this question. It's not given clearly, because there are so many experts who have given. No? Okay, unless the name is given clearly, we can't do it. Okay, free rein policy is laissez-faire policy. Laissez-faire policy. And Tenenbaum and Smith, so they only have very clearly developed what is that leadership continuum. And leadership grid was given by Blake and Mountain. Okay. Then the grid has how many dimensions? I told you 2 dimensions. Were you able to write 2? And what are those 2 dimensions? Concern for the people, concern for production. An integrated model of leadership was given by George Terry. Swami Vivekananda was the one who cited this or quoted servant leadership. But one who coined is different. That is Robert Greenleaf. And I think we also asked you about the year of publication, 1970. Are you clear? Now go to the motivation exercise. Motivation may be defined as a process of stimulating. Remember that. Okay. Robert Dubin. This chapter only has tricky names. Very unfamiliar names. Robert Dubin has defined a motivation as something that moves a person to action and continues him in the course of action already initiated. Medical reimbursement is an example of financial incentive. Reimbursement, money is given. Okay, we have already seen in one of the chapters, the list is already there for you. Need hierarchy theory was given by Maslow. Herzberg conducted a motivational study. How many sample size? 200 accountants and engineers. Company policy and administration is an example of what? Hygiene factor or motivational factor. It is hygiene factor, basic factor. Hygiene means what? Basic factor. NR can power and NF. You remember that? Yes, go to the theory of motivation. So that very clearly I want you to remember the SPART. I'll show you that. Because I remember one student telling me that This NARC and NPAR and anything is not getting registered in my mind. It is an acronym type. It's an abbreviation type. Very much given our material. So I only wanted to say that, see, look, our material has everything. Why are you worrying? It's tabulated and given. Even before this, it will come in the beginning itself. Maslow, McGregor. Show you that. Oh my. Please look at this. So this NR, even in the notes we have given like that only, within two double quotes. NR, N power, NF. Okay, and look at the name of the expert, McClelland's. McClelland's need theory. It's not Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Maslow's need hierarchy theory is different from McClelland's need theory. Okay, in McClelland's need theory, NR, N power and NF. Need for achievement, need for power, need for affiliation. So remember the name, McClelland. And NR is need for achievement, need for power, need for affiliation. X theory denotes a positive or negative? Certainly negative. Okay. Z theory is based on what? Choose the right option. Strong bond between organization and employees, employee participation involvement, no formal organization, all of the above. All of the above is a perfect answer. Expand ERG. Existence, relatedness and growth. Who gave that? Expert as defer. Got it? Okay. Now go to the communication topic. The word communication is derived from Latin word. Be very clear. And communis means common, shared. Okay. Communis implies common or shared. Okay. Communication involves sharing of ideas, opinions, facts, all of the above. Don't forget, if it is even opinion, it is even ideas, it is also facts. Communication can be through words, symbols, letters, actions, all of the above. In the words of Newman and Samar, look at the name of the expert. The definition of communication is given. Gestural or body language. Here you have to trace the odd man out. You know what is the odd man out here? Wave of hand, gestural. Movement of lips, gestural. Twisting of face is gestural. Watching is an odd man out. See how technically they are giving. Okay. Encoding. The answer is encoding. You said this is from the process of communication. Okay. Make that as very important question. Prepare well. Okay. Process of communication. Prepare well for the examination. Process or elements or steps. Both are, I think they are one and the same. Yeah. Now they can ask you encoding, decoding, right? Anything. So encoding involves a selection of language in which the message is to be given. Clear or not? Okay. Then regarding the whether it is horizontal or whether it is vertical or diagonal, horizontal transformation of information among the positions at the same level of organization. When it is at the same levels of organization, it is horizontal. Remember that. Okay. Now, among the when X non-selectively communicates with everyone, it is gossip. Yes or no? Yes or no? Gossip, single strand, cluster, probability, everything we revised and came before doing this exercise. Written communication is in the form of, choose the odd one out, letters, circulars, dictaphones and memos. A, B and D are written. Dictaphone is a machine. It is not a written communication. Now, proxemics means what? Space language. Chronomics, kinesics, all this you remember. Okay, so completely we revised all the techniques of directing and we have done an elaborate exercise on it, right? Now, after directing, what is the last element of management? Controlling. So, we are going to go to our next So this is quickly done. Now we are going to go to controlling. Okay. So we can attempt controlling is relatively an easy topic because directing at so many components. We can look at the controlling questions directly. Okay. Again, for coordination, collaboration, monitoring, I will show you the aspects. So basically for controlling, so now we can close this. You have revised this well. See, directing is a very big chunk, so that's why I took it up first, you know. And this again, I would, we have to go through this coordination, collaboration, monitoring before doing the exercise. Likewise, this decision making, we can go through and do the exercise. This one, we can do the exercise directly because we did it in the class. What is theory of bureaucracy? What is stewardship? What is agency? We did know. So we will see, okay, depending upon the time. So today being the last day, let us stay focused on what we should be doing, right? Now go to the questions on controlling. Oh, I'm going to the answer key page. Yeah. Now this is the topic. Controlling is what we are going to see now. Okay. In the words of Dash, control is a process by which managers assure that resources are obtained and used effectively and efficiently in the accomplishment of the organizational objectives. Now, what is this very first template question is about? Experts, quotes, definitions, vital point. Okay. Then match the following. Action is the basis, planning is the essence, information is a key delegation is the guide. You know, this is often asked in match the following. In the class also, I made you do this exercise if you can remember that. If you see your class notes also, you can do it. So even for revision, we will do that. Okay. Expand MBE. See, in this topic, what I find, my dear students, mainly acronyms are asked. Okay. So MBE. Okay. The next one is dash analysis is an inventory categorization technique. If you look at techniques of control, you know, we saw traditional techniques like personal observation, statistical analysis, a profit and loss method, etc. And we have seen even modern techniques like responsibility centers and, you know, management audit, ROI, per CPM we have seen. Now I have taken from that segment also for you. Okay. Now dash analysis is an inventory categorization technique. You will know that in an organization, for the inventory could be raw material, the inventory could be semi-finished goods, the inventory could also be finished goods. Now, how are we going to stock it optimally, cost effectively? It's a point. Okay. Then, the idea behind the principle of dash is that no news is good news. Tricky question. And you see the answer, you'll know. Okay, then dash control. Now types of control, you remember historical control, feedback control, feed forward control. From the alternative name, I've asked you on the alternative name. Dash control is known as real time or steering control. Dash analysis is called as no profit, no loss zone. It is one point. Let's see whether they know. 3 types of responsibility centers are there. So one is the odd man out. What you have to find? Odd man out. So this is cost center. Okay. Cost center, profit center, investment center, sales center. What is an odd man out? Try to find out. Because there are only 3 responsibility centers. Expand PERT, expand CPM, expand MIS. Okay. Who gave the theory of bureaucracy? And bureaucratic model is based upon formal or informal. Who gave theory of bureaucracy? Bureaucratic model is based upon formal or informal. Do this. Try these questions from the controlling segment, and theory of bureaucracy also have added. Now, agency and stewards theory separately. Separately we can do. Agency and stewards theory. Separately we can do. Try this. I'll show you the answer key very shortly. Okay. Yeah. Now we are going to see the answer key. It is very important that you have the answer key. No, otherwise it's not. There's no point actually, because you can't check your answer. No. So this is controlling topic. Okay. In the words of Antony, new name. That's why I chose this. See, every topic, any name will be like what you saw, no? Jubin. So like that, you will have new Weyrich we learned yesterday, Antony. So he defines control as a process by which managers assure that resources are obtained and used effectively and efficiently in the accomplishment of organizational objectives. Right. Now match the following. My dear students, look at it. Planning is the basis. Action is the essence. Delegation is the key. Information is the guide. Now, in the class, as we were discussing, I told you, you remember understanding the meaning. That's why with the meaning in the class, I was telling you to take it down. If you see what is given in bracket is a meaning. It's so you prepare this segment with that. Okay. Planning is the basis. Action is the essence. Delegation is the key. Information is a guide. Yes, so that is what even they suggest to you. Even the scanner suggests that you should have something like this. Yeah. So what they say, no, you have some tips for this. Otherwise, you can't remember. No, everything is like I can even say planning is a guide. No, planning is a guidance. No. So the revision tip is I'm going to have the meaning of this very clearly. So planning is a basis, action is the essence, delegation is a key, information is a guide. So planning means setting up of the objectives. Action is remedial action. Delegation is I can do something only when the authority is delegated. Okay, to identify the deviation, correct action, how can I otherwise do it? And information is a guide, which means I should have some reports. What is control? Assessment of performance. What is that actual performance with the targeted? I am comparing it. Okay, expand. MBA is management by exception. Remember, critical control point. Management by exception. These terms were given to say that don't keep assessing each and everything. There are some critical issues where you have to do that assessment. There are some exceptional situations where you have to do this assessment. So reserve your controlling exercise and technique for these. Give priority to these. That is why the term control by exception. Management by exception is otherwise known as control by exception. But they won't give that because answer is hidden, no? So they give you as MB. MBO is management by objectives, a concept given by Peter Drucker where superiors and subordinates sit together, discuss, deliberate and set corporate objectives. Whereas management by exception is a controlling technique. Management by exception. Then dash analysis is an inventory categorization analysis, ABC. A is the most important item. Priority should be given to maintain inventory of A items, followed by B, followed by C. So what is most important? A. What is least is C. Okay. The idea behind the principle of control by exception is no news is good news. If I don't have any bad news, that is a good news. When I say control by exception, what are we saying? Some exceptional thing, some crisis, some emergency has happened. If I don't get that news, if I don't have that news, it's a good news. So no news is good news is the definition or behind the principle of control by exception. What are we saying by exceptional deviations? See, this was a target and actual performance is so low. Something exceptional, something drastic. So that's a bad news. So we are saying we don't want such news. When we don't have that news of deviation, it's a good news. Are you clear? Make a note of it. I saw in 2-3 papers this. Okay. Then concurrent control is known as real time and steering control. In fact, in the class we studied the difference between concurrent, feed forward, feed backward, everything. But they suddenly ask you on the alternative name. So alternative names must also be in your fingertips. Okay. Concurrent control is also known as real time or steering control. And what is no profit, no loss zone? Break-even analysis with that diagram with the formula we saw in the class. And it comes under traditional control techniques. What are the 3 types of responsibility centers? Cost center, profit center, and investment center. So which is the odd man out? Sales. Expand what? Program evaluation and review technique. Okay. Expand CPM. Critical path method. Okay. Expand MIS. See, this chapter has a lot of acronyms. That's what I'm bringing it to your forefront. Management information system. Because the 4 options they will give you might confuse you. So this should be there in your fingertip. How many expansions? Yeah, we saw MBE. We have this PERT, CPM, MIS. Okay. Who gave theory of bureaucracy? Max Weber. Okay. And bureaucratic model is based on formal or informal model. It is a formal model. And I will just give you. So this is the answer key. So Max Weber has given the thing. Now, a small note on bureaucratic theory before we go to the next segment. So what I'm going to tell you is here. Now, regarding this bureaucratic model, it was given by Max Weber. Now, fundamentally, this model says that everything should be going as per rules, regulations, and norms. Any violation of rules is subjected to punishments, right? And here, any kind of personal kind of relationship or friendly type of relationship is not workable. So there is impersonality to the core in this model. Impersonality to core. Everything is formal. Nothing is personal. And here the management dictates and those orders and instructions have to be meticulously obeyed by the subordinates. And of course the management decides for the corporate goal, for a larger goal. Therefore it is important that the subordinates obey. And here it is very hierarchical in nature. Several levels are there. When you say hierarchical, A, B, C, D, E. So D has this level to obey, this level to obey, this level to obey. And always it is top down. It's a top down model. It is not bottom up. Yesterday we discussed, top down, top down model, bottom up model, composite approach, team approach, etc. Okay, it is top down. See that? Are you clear? Are you getting this point clear? So, bureaucratic model, very good example. Ma'am, how should I remember the features? Remember government. Because government machinery itself is known as, it is known as government bureaucracy. Government bureaucracy, government machinery, that functioning. So you have this maybe at the village level, local governments and taluk, and then you have the state and center, etc. Have that, no? So all levels. It's hierarchical in nature. It is formal in nature. The personal relationships are not entertained. Everything is governed by rules, norms, and regulations. And it is more autocratic model, and management dictates or issues orders and instructions. However, they are meant for the growth of the enterprise or the organization, and together the management and the subordinates work for the growth of the entity. Are you clear? I just want to give a summary on that. That's why, the two core questions I added here. That is, who gave this theory and what it is about. Okay. Now let's go address some of the questions in Stewart's theory and agency theory. Okay. Please revise Stewart's theory elaborately, agency theory elaborately. It has names of many management experts. Book references are there. So clarity is also given there. So on whatever it is. So I expect that you all will go through that in detail. Okay. I'm just thinking for a second whether I will make you go through and do this exercise or directly we will do. Steward and agency. Okay, let's go to question paper. I think we'll do a small revision of that theory and we will do, yeah, so that for you, my dear students, as per the way we are doing today, let us quickly have a glimpse into that before you attempt the exercise, right? Stewardship and agency theories, right? Let us have a small look into it. So please remember, what is basically the idea behind Steward's theory, that a steward will protect and maximize shareholders' wealth. How does he do? Through the better performance of the firm. Point one is clear. Now, which means who is called as the stewards? They are the company's executives and managers who are working for the shareholders. Why we say working for the shareholders? Because shareholders are the one who are contributing financially, no? They have made that investment. So, to maximize the wealth of these shareholders, company executives and managers are working. And they are called as the stewards. Fundamental point clear? That would be the main question, remember. Now, the stewards themselves is satisfied and motivated when organization sees success, isn't it? They are also going to be rewarded, no? For the contribution, intellectual contribution, whatever it is, right? So, in that way, they are also happy when the organization meets with success. Now, here, we understand that the employees, the executives, whoever it is, managers, however we say, though they are working for the maximization of the shareholders, for the shareholders' returns, remember, they can work independently or autonomously. They are not bound by anybody. So that is what we are looking at each point. No, the position of that executive is autonomous, right? But what is their responsibility? To fetch returns for the shareholders who have invested money or contributed money for the company. Are you clear with that? This much? Now, this theory was developed by three experts: Davis, Schoorman, Donaldson. In the class I was telling you, remember Davis, Schoorman, and Donaldson, 1997. Okay. Now here, they also see, it is also based on the assumptions of agency theory. Now here it says that, see, the managers or executives or employees, however we call them, they are working for safeguarding the wealth of the shareholders. Why? Because they are also going to be benefited when organization succeeds. Maybe they get a promotion, maybe get a financial hike. So the premise of agency theory, the next theory, which talks about self-interested marriage, is very much here also. It's applicable here. Okay. And here, in this model, there is one important notion, that is, there is a conflict of interest between shareholders and managers. A small conflict happens, inbuilt conflict. Shareholders as financial contributors, managers as hired people. That contribution is there. Okay, that small thing is there. And here Donaldson, that's why I've highlighted that. So Donaldson says motivate them. So intrinsic motivation is important. Intrinsic means what? Extrinsic is external benefit. Intrinsic is achievement, responsibility, recognition, all those things. So he opines, or he gives opinion that any human behavior, if you want to motivate them, whatever category it is, intrinsic motivation works well. Something internal. Give them, appreciate them, reward them, award them. It is not always monetary benefits. That is where Donaldson works comes in. And here, in stewardship theory, slowly it talks about principal manager relationship, like principal as a shareholder and manager relationship. Okay, and both the parties can behave as the heads of the organization, like guards of the organization, stewards of the organization, both. Okay, now here stewardship theory, the idea behind this theory is there should not be any conflict of interest between the managers and owners. Don't have, because that is detrimental to the growth of the organization. Okay, so it also authorizes managers. It says you have hired them, but please remember they are not opportunistic or greedy agents. They are good stewards. Stewards, they are going to protect. How did we start the theory? They are going to protect the wealth of the shareholders. They are going to safeguard, maximize the returns of the shareholders. So they are not opportunistic people. But when the safeguarding of the wealth, the maximizing of the wealth happens, they are benefited. Anybody would expect that? So where is a question of demeaning the managers? Demeaning them. So while we understand that there is an inbuilt conflict of interest between managers and owners, though the agency's theories glimpses are here saying that managers are self-interested, Stewart's theory says, no, don't do like that. Let both the parties act as stewards and let us not demean the managers because they are not opportunistic. That's why this word is highlighted. In the class, I was telling the highlighted ones tell you the story. And as a point where you read the story, that's what I'm saying. Okay, they are not greedy agents. Don't tell them as greedy ones. They are good stewards. They will work for the working the interest of the owners. But when they work and they get them high returns, it means organization performance is good. So they will also be benefited. Now, what is harm? Okay, so that is what here that. Okay, now there is also a strong relationship between the manager's pursuit of the organizational objectives and also that of the other participants in the collective reward. Now, he as a participant, shareholder is going to get, he as a contributor will also get. That's what we are saying. Okay, so Davis, Schoolman and Donaldson have said that managers, being the steward of the company, will try to protect and maximize the shareholder. That is where we are ending this theory. They will do this. Okay, he will perform his in a very important way. And who is a steward? Basically, who successfully improves the performance of the organization, satisfies most of the groups, all the interest groups. Okay, every sector is improved. Okay, and here, but the introducers, the introducers of the concept are basically Donaldson and Davis. It says that this theory is not an attempt to replace one form of determinism by the other. It is a realistic note of a contingency model. See, the manager will act according to the situation. That's all. Manager's choice is contingent upon many factors. Their understanding of the situation, their psychological motivation. Depending upon that, they will do. That's why we said, no, give them benefits, intrinsic benefits. They're going to tap a manager when he does well. The shareholders can handshake them. See, you have done a wonderful job. Our company is doing well. When they do that, and when the situation is optimistic, more they will contribute. So Donaldson and Davis exclusively say, we call them as introducers. Of course, the theory was given by Schoolman also. But here, as the introducers of the concept, they say that the managers are working as per the requirement of the situation, dictate of the situations. So do not demean them. Okay, and the shareholders, the principals or the owners are also trying to gel with them. That's what. And here you have Pearson and Marlowe, who bring about a complex question where they say reciprocal stewardship behavior. Reciprocal. They say that a leader's stewardship choice can motivate and facilitate reciprocal stewardship relationship. So you can get more from a steward when you give them. That's what Pearson and Marler say. Okay, that is a transformational leadership. If you call a owner, shareholder as a principal or a leader, let them motivate the manager who is working for them. No, reciprocal. So the leader, the principal should set an example. That is transformational leadership. Okay, Pearson and Marler bringing about transformational leadership. One other point. So these 11 core points we have revised. Are you clear? Now go to the agency theory. When did it come about? Early part of the 20th century. Corporate sector across the globe, not in India alone or advanced countries, across the globe. When there was a growth of joint stock companies, this theory came into existence. Please remember, my dear students, this is a very, very important one to attain sustainable competitive advantage. Competitive advantage for a prolonged period of time. There is a separation between principal and the agent. We are not using the word steward, agent. Now, principal is a owner, shareholder, investor. An agent is an executive director, outside director, whoever it is. That first, that clarity we are giving. Under agency theory, who gave that? It was from Alchian and Demsetz, Jensen and Merkling, and later on elaborated by Jensen and Farmer. So Alchian and Demsetz, Jensen and Merkling, and Jensen and Farmer. Their seminal papers contributed to this agency theory. Okay, and there are some authors who have pointed out that it was already an agency problem was indicated by Adam Smith in his Wealth of Nations. We have all studied, no? Our first topic in economics. Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, isn't it? An inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations. That is there. Because there he said, when he argued that company directors were not likely to be careful with other people's money as with their own. So what is about the point here? If something is your own only, you will take care. Now here, the agents are working for the organization. They are working for shareholders. Are they owning something? Will they be serious? So they should have some motivation. So that's why self-interest agent will work well. That's what agency theory says, or Adam Smith says. Give them some opportunity for thinking that they also grow. That's a basis. Otherwise, as an agent working for somebody, do you think they will give 100% contribution? They will think, no, what is that benefit I am getting? What is the extra benefit when I am getting when the shareholders are seeking getting a lucrative returns? That is a point. Okay, and here one phrase is very common, my dear students. Knowledge is power. The superior power is with the agent. Please remember this point. Okay, they have been asking you in the books. So, what theory it is associated with? Knowledge is power is a common phrase, we all know. It is associated with agency theory. Agency theory. Remember that. Well, very well. Yes. Now, what we are saying here is the superior power is with the agent. Understand? What are we trying to tell? Let it be Adam Smith or let it be these authors also, management experts. They all say that agent is working for the growth of somebody else. So, also give him some incentive. So, so that a self-interested person will work well. So, of course, definitely there is separation of management and finance. Agency problem, there is a difference. Now, managers raise funds from the investors to employ them into productive and profitable venture. And financiers need managers to generate a handsome return on their funds. This is what happens. So, we are not using the word shareholder and steward. We are using the term managers and investors. So, what does agency theory suggest? Look at the crux of the theory. Suggests that shareholders are the principals in whose interest the corporation should be run, even though they rely upon others for the actual running of the corporation. I am depending upon finance for the others. But please remember, as far as the agency theory is concerned, shareholders are the principals in whose interest the corporation should run, even though they rely on others for the actual running of the corporation. Okay, and here two types of problem can occur. Type 1 problem, type 2 problem. They may ask you, it's an expected question. Type 1 agency problem, type 2 agency problem. Type 1 agency problem between owner and the manager. Problem that arises between the owner and the manager. Type 2 problem among the shareholders itself. Okay, remember this. Type 1 agency problem, type 2 agency problem. Okay, remember that. That's what we have elaborated here. And here, remember, agent may misuse power for monetary benefits. So there is a problem. So many threat is there. And the problem of information asymmetry. I already gave you an idea about information asymmetry. You all know that. And one quotation of Blair is very important. Managers are supposed to be the agents of corporations owners. Agents of who is the principal shareholder. And Blair has openly stated that managers are supposed to be the agents of corporations owners. But the former must be monitored. And there should be some outsider and independent arrangement to provide some checks and balances to make sure that they do not abuse their power. But the former should be monitored means whom? The agent should be monitored. Don't give them completely managerial power or discretion. Because when suddenly you find huge loss, not only the shareholders are entering into a damaging state, organization itself into devastating state. That's why Blair's quote is very important. He clearly tells who is the agent. Who is the agent here? Managers who are working for the organization. Companies owners. Owners are shareholders. Contribution of finance. But keep an eye on them. Because unless there is going to be a benefit, they will not work. Other thing is, they may focus on their own benefit itself. Self-interest, making them very greedy. Okay. And the three terms, information asymmetry, incomplete information, moral hazard, all these three things I've told you. Okay, the three important things, and that's what I'll tell you that point. Okay, now look at this, those three I will tell you. Now, what is this agency cost? The cost resulting from managers misusing their power and position. They are manipulating malpractices for fraudulent practices, as well as the cost you have to incur to monitor them and discipline them. Both, they are called as agency cost. Do you understand this point? And apart from ownership management relationship defined by agency cost, there is also a cost arises from the relationship between company and creditor, employer, employee, company, customer, that is also there. So, Schliffer and Vichy argued that agency problem is an important element of the contractual view of the firm because it is a contractual agreement. Organization is a contractual agreement. So that's why so many stakeholders. There could be, if the contract is incomplete, it is not clear, it is not a holistic, problems will arise. So agency cost tells us that you should be very careful. Jensen and Meckling is talking about this only. So what are the ways? Now, how do you define agency cost? All those ways we are giving you. Okay. So be very careful when the agency cost is calculated. So please remember, wherever agency cost in the sense of the three authors, they can be calculated where there is no need for monitoring. Whenever there is a need for monitoring, agency cost cannot be calculated. Why they tell that? See, when there is no need for monitoring, which means honesty is there, trustworthy agents are there, everything is going fine. So don't work out. But do a calculation of agency cost where there is need for monitoring because it implies absence of trustworthiness. Are you clear? And again, Hart also says incomplete contracts. It's a problem. And he gives reasons for it. We saw it in the class. Right. So wherever Professor Jensen and originators term is there, we have highlighted that as important. Efficient market is the best place to deal with agency problem. Efficient market. Don't allow inefficiency. Don't allow, wastages or missing the optimum point. Right? Which is very important. And Lermont very clearly said, give them incentives for self-control, self-disciplining. Incentives. is a main point. And Jensen and Meckling also say that market was considered to be the best place for discussing the management efficiency. Okay, many of the experts agree, but neoclassical economists, they also feel that market is the only way to organize efficient contracting. Be clear in your contracting agreement. And here we have given you what the distinction. I have tabulated the distinction. It's taken from the parent source. I told you that you can look at this and go into the ideas. So agency theory is given as a downward, stewardship theory is given as downward sloping, agency theory is given as upward sloping. Is that clear? So, and they have given this explanation. I think with this we are ending the agency theory. Is that clear? Have you understood in a detailed way? We have revised. So we will address a couple of questions here. And information asymmetry, I told you know what is that? When the two parties in a transaction are not well informed. One is well informed, one is ill informed. So the well informed takes advantage of ill informed. That is called as incomplete information. There is an information asymmetry. This will lead to a moral hazard. What is moral hazard? A one well informed person becomes opportunistic. He takes advantage of the ill informed. Okay, that's a clarity. Now can we go to the questions? Yeah. Look at the questions. And after this, I will give you a break, because after the break, we will concentrate on this totally. Concepts to be learned. Yesterday we did no organizing, like that it is. We did learn. What did we learn yesterday? Power, authority, responsibility, accountability, influence, delegation, decentralization, centralization. Didn't we learn all those yesterday? Like that, this concept is clear. So post breakfast break, we will do that exercise. Are you clear? So now we will do quiz. And this quick revision and quiz. Okay. Where is my quiz for you? Yeah, answer key. Oh, no, question. Why go to answer key first? Questions. Okay. Stewards theory and agency theory. Dash are company executives and managers working for shareholders, protects and makes profits for the shareholders. Find out that. Here again, yes, I always check with the key references I have collected for you. Okay. Yes. Answer keys are thoroughly checked. Okay. Second one, dash theory states that a steward protects and dash shareholders wealth through firm. Through firm as such. Wealth. We will make it as a next one. The theory stresses on the position of the employees or executives to act more dash so that shareholders' returns are maximized. Stewardship theory is developed by dash. Remember them? Year of publication is given, which is based on assumptions of agency theory of self-interested manager, rationally maximizing his or her own maximum economic gain. Dash theory, which was originated from the seminal papers of Alcian, Demetz, Jensen and Meckling, and later elaborated by the work of Jensen and Farmer. Dash is power, the superior power is with dash. I told you an important phrase. Two types of agency problem identified, type 1, type 2. And the last question is, according to dash, 1996, year of publication is given, the managers are supposed to be the agents of a corporation's owners. Try this. Okay. Just now that we have revised, I'm sure for you the answer should not be tough, isn't it? We went line by line, revised both the theories. Dash are company executives. Stewards are company executives and managers working for the shareholders, protect and make profits for the shareholders. Okay. The steward's theory says that a steward protects and maximizes, not merely protecting, my dear students, note it, maximizes shareholders' wealth. Okay, and we made this as a third question. The theory stresses what? The position of the employees and executives to act more autonomously. Just because they are agent, they are not, their hands are not tied. Because stewards are executives. We saw that, no? That's how we began the theory. So here, just through firm's performance, actually it is. That's why it is not clear. So yesterday I had to type these questions, no? We have to refer, do references. So here it is, the theory stresses, no? It's not just it stresses, the theory stresses. Okay. The stewardship theory is developed by Davis, Schoorman and Donaldson. Study it with the year of publication. Okay. Then the agency theory from the seminal papers of Alchian and Demsetz, Jensen and Meckling. And later it was elaborated by Jensen and Pharma. Jensen, Meckling and Pharma. Jensen, Meckling and Pharma for agency theory. And who is for stewardship theory? Davis, Schoorman and Donaldson. Knowledge is power. Superpower is with the agent. Repeated question. The phrase is very important. Please note it. And what is the type 1 and type 2 problem? Type 1 is the problem between the owner and the manager. Type 2 is among the owners or among the shareholders themselves. Remember that. Okay. And one more question is also there. According to Dash, managers are supposed to be the agents of corporation's owner according to Blair. Check your answers. Note the correct answers. See, since we did a elaborate, revision of the topic and we came for a exercise segment. No, I thought because some topics where you need exercise, that is where we did that exercise today and maintain. See, for example, directing techniques, you need a revision. Then only you can do the exercise. Controlling is not needed. It's a easy, comparatively easy topic. Bureaucracy also. Because government bureaucracy is easy. But stewardship and agency theory, a small glimpse and then into the topic. Now, what we are going to do is, this is the only portion left over. So, we will go through the revision and then attempt the quiz. This is, we did a quick revision, isn't it? We did a quick revision plus quiz. So, the package is formed very clearly by this, again, concepts. Coordination, collaboration, monitoring, you need to know. Okay. So, now it's almost close to 9. We will take one breakfast break now. Or I will come and tell you. So, this is ready for you. We are going to see this. I want you all to revise in the class itself. At least coordination is simple. Anyway, we can go through coordination, collaboration and monitoring. So, we will do a quick revision of this and go for quiz questions. Okay. And yeah, decision making. Because since you have done planning, I'm not much worried about decision making. We will do. Okay. Yes. So, now it is going to be 9. We will come back and probably we can come back by 9:30 and start.